The night sky over the Atlantic is unnaturally calm, the moon hanging low and bright like a watchful eye, silvering the waves beneath it as if the ocean itself were holding its breath. World War II has turned the seas into hunting grounds, but tonight there are no explosions, no tracer fire, only the distant hum of an aircraft engine cutting through the darkness. Somewhere below, a German U-boat moves cautiously on the surface, conserving battery power, its crew unaware that fate is descending from the sky. In war, death usually comes loud and fast, but sometimes it arrives quietly, guided by moonlight and chance. By 1942, the Atlantic Ocean has become a vast killing field, where German U-boats stalk Allied convoys like wolves in the dark, sinking merchant ships faster than they can be replaced. These submarines are not just weapons. They are terror incarnate, capable of choking entire nations by cutting supply lines. Allied pilots know this well, flying endless patrols over featureless water, scanning for the faintest ripple, oil sheen, or shadow that might betray a submarine's presence. Most missions end in nothing, just fuel burned and nerves frayed. But every flight carries the promise of sudden, lethal contact. The pilot at the center of this story is not a legend yet, not a name carved into history books, but a tired young airman shaped by long hours, cold winds, and the constant weight of responsibility. Trained to hunt submarines, he flies an aircraft designed for endurance rather than glory, equipped with depth charges and flares, relying as much on instinct as on instruments. He has seen the wreckage of torpedoed ships, the oil-slick graves of sailors who never reached land, and each patrol feels personal. Tonight, he has no idea that he is about to experience one of the strangest encounters of the entire war. Below him, the German submarine's crew believes they are safe, at least for now. Surfaced to recharge batteries and take in fresh air, they move with practiced efficiency across the steel deck, shadows stretching long in the moonlight. These men have survived weeks beneath the waves, cramped, damp, and hunted, trusting their vessel and their commander to bring them home alive. They do not know that their submarine, designed to vanish beneath the sea, is dangerously exposed, silhouetted against the glowing surface like a target painted by the moon itself. From the cockpit above, the pilot sees it, a dark shape where there should be none, a line that breaks the ocean's symmetry. His heart rate spikes, training takes over. He circles once, then again, confirming what his eyes already know. A surface submarine, alone, vulnerable. He begins his attack run, lining up depth charges, calculating speed and angle. But then something goes wrong. Mechanical failure, a misjudgment, a sudden loss of control. The aircraft drops lower than intended, skimming the waves in a heart-stopping descent. In a moment that defies doctrine, logic, and common sense, the aircraft slams onto the submarine's deck. Metal shrieks against metal as the plane's undercarriage tears into steel, meant for waves, not wheels. For a fraction of a second, time seems to stop. German sailors freeze in disbelief. The pilot grips the controls, stunned but alive. A plane, an enemy plane, has just landed on their submarine under the glow of the moon, turning the rules of naval warfare inside out. Panic erupts. Some German crewmen dive into the sea. Others rush for weapons. The submarine lists under the sudden weight and damage, water pouring in through ruptured fittings. The pilot, realizing he cannot take off, scrambles to arm his explosives. Smoke, sparks, and shouted commands fill the night air. This is no longer an attack. It is a desperate struggle for survival, fought on a narrow strip of steel floating between air and ocean. Moments later, the inevitable happens. Explosions rip through the submarine's hull, whether from armed charges, ruptured fuel, or catastrophic structural failure. The U-boat begins to sink, its bow dipping first, dragging wreckage and men toward the depths. The pilot escapes into the water, watching as the steel monster slides beneath the moonlit surface, leaving behind only debris, oil, and silence. In one of the strangest engagements of the war, a submarine has been destroyed not by torpedoes or depth charges alone, but by an aircraft that physically landed upon it. Alone in the cold ocean, the pilot clings to life, surrounded by wreckage and the echoes of shouting men. Rescue is uncertain. The sea does not care who won the battle. Hours stretch endlessly as waves rise and fall beneath the moon, and the war feels very far away. Eventually, Allied forces arrive, pulling survivors from the water, some German, some Allied, proof that war's lines blur when survival is at stake. Official reports struggle to describe what happened. There is no box to tick for aircraft landed on submarine. The incident becomes a footnote, a whispered story among airmen and sailors, passed along with disbelief and dark humor. The pilot returns to duty, carrying the memory of steel scraping steel and a submarine vanishing beneath him. The German Navy records another U-boat lost, another crew scattered to the sea. This strange encounter captures the essence of World War II's naval war: improvisation, chaos, and the thin margin between life and death. It proves that technology alone does not win wars. Humans do, with all their errors, courage, and sheer unpredictability. The ocean, vast and indifferent, witnessed countless battles, but few as surreal as this one, where air and sea collided in the most literal way imaginable. Today, the ocean has reclaimed the wreckage, hiding it beneath layers of salt and time. But the story remains, a reminder that history is not only shaped by grand strategies and famous generals, but by moments of pure chance under a bright moon. A pilot flew into the night expecting another routine patrol, and instead became part of one of the most unbelievable naval encounters of World War II. By moonlight, a submarine rose to the surface and never returned.